I took an action that I thought to be correct.
I understand, General. But I cannot, I will not, be out of the loop again. Commander, just the man I wanted to see. I've been giving a great deal of thought to our strategy in Sarajevo, and I believe our next move must be emphatic. Nothing less than the annihilation of Nod's temple.
That is out of the question. We've already wasted way too many assets trying to take down that goddamn temple.
Fair enough. But I refuse to believe we haven't learned tactical lessons from those losses.
Our troops are spread thin. We cannot afford any more expensive lessons.
But we can't afford General's hesitation. We all saw Kane's broadcast. Time is of the essence here. GDI needs a major victory. Something the media can get behind and run with. And I, for one, have every confidence that our commander can deliver it. I hope I've made myself clear.
Yes, sir. This mission is ill-advised, to say the least. But if you're going to take it on, you'll need to establish a foothold in the region. Work from there. Percy will walk you through the appropriate strategy. Good luck.
During the Second Tiberian War, we set up a forward base in Croatia. It's fallen under heavy attack from Nod. But if you can secure it, we'll send a supply convoy to establish a strong foothold in the region. Once that's in place, we can cut off Nod's supply lines and then mount an attack on Kane's little hideout in Sarajevo. Good luck, Commander. You'll need it. Well, Commander, you're in Nod's backyard now, so prepare for the worst. Our base in Croatia is in trouble. Nod has sabotaged their power plants and is mounting an escalating series of attacks. We need you to get in there and hold on until we can send reinforcements with an MCV.
Repairing. Building online. Incoming transmission. Your base has limited power available. Reroute power between base defenses to hold off Nod attacks. Training. Base defenses offline. Building online. Intelligence data updated. Building
Keep
online.
your weapon ready.
Insufficient funds.
Affirmative. Pay attention. Reporting in. Move out.
Loaded and ready. Area confirmed.
Establishing video uplink.
Good afternoon, Commander. You must be lost. This is not your precious blue zone. This is Nod territory. Tell you what, I'll have my forces send you home. In a body bag.
Well, welcome back, Commander.
Dig in.
Unit
We have a fairly interesting mission, and one that will feel similar, or at least familiar, to previous games in this series. We have the tried and tested defend a base up until you get reinforcements that will allow you to build your base or further reinforce it, and then destroy the remaining enemy forces on the map.
Let's do it.
It's a strange one from a perspective of the guide. For whatever reason, the guide likes to point out that the mission starts with a bang, and 2 of your power plants are destroyed by a Nod assault group. However, none of that actually shows up, and I'm curious as to whether or not that is either a change that was affected in a patch, or if that's something that was more in a developer or preview of the game rather than what the final product eventually ended up being.
unit under attack.
Now, there's a few things to also point out in this mission. One, it's very tough. I had to play this numerous times from start to finish, or start to dying, just because of the limitations that we have. First off, the Venom attack aircraft will show up every once in a while. They're very annoying to have to deal with because, as mentioned in the previous video, missile squads just do not really perform well against them. Not as much as you might like. or want. And so if you only have those and you're up against a Venom aircraft, you're probably going to lose quite a few of them, and then you can't build infantry whatsoever. It's kind of why I opened with a pit bull versus anything else. You'll also absolutely want to build a second harvester for that income. And essentially, you want to build up your defenses to a certain degree. Get bunkers, get missile squads, get a lot of rifleman squads, and just basically do it that way. The goal here is to essentially build ourselves a wall of defenses in order for us to push out. The game makes mention that there's a convoy up in the top left, and that convoy needs us to destroy one set of defenses for them to survive and be able to progress, essentially, to our base so that we can start doing that part of the mission. However, the need, quote-unquote, to do that is completely false. The AI will never attack those units. There's no time limit on when that occurs. But what you want to do is build up your forces, which includes a lot of tanks, because you will absolutely need to defeat these at least this one base.
Under attack from Nod.
The reason why you want to do this is because the map is essentially divided into 3 zones. You have the top right, which is entirely vehicle production. You have the bottom right, which is entirely air production. And you have the bottom left, which is entirely infantry production. It's a very interesting way to essentially divvy up the map and test yourself as the player, essentially. This also means that in order to defend ourselves, defend our base from any further aggression, you, in my opinion, really want to go after the vehicle base first. The main reason for this is because, after all, the Scorpion tanks, the constant buggies and attack bikes are going to do more against your defenses than infantry will. They're going to do more than what the Venom aircraft will. After all, you have some AA turrets, you still can build pit bulls, etc. But what you cannot quite protect yourself against is when Nod starts building flame tanks and has about 4 of them or 5 of them in one group. You have a very rough timer under which you can destroy them before flame tanks just go hog wild. They do a lot of damage versus buildings, and you don't really have anything to stop them once your income dries up or once you no longer have power.
Assault in progress.
Now, like I said, building up your forces, once you have about 8 tanks, you should be ready to go and bust through and essentially clear out this portion of the map. Interestingly, the game does this weird thing where it doesn't declare these as objectives until you actually, until you complete one of the other things we have to do in this mission. But since we're not going to, you kind of just auto-complete the objective before it even is revealed as one to do.
To the northern section of the city and rescue them.
Assault in progress.
Unit lost.
We have contact. Combat zone.
Our base is under attack. Training.
Reload, reload!
Again, at a certain point, you can also just start turning off defenses for areas you don't need. I could have probably been a little quicker on it and just given myself the infantry, the watchtower turrets, and repower those just to give me some added defenses that I won't have to micromanage quite so much. And as mentioned, we've managed to take out the base, and it just grants us the objective as something completed. There was a mention of the watchtowers that can't quite shoot at units, or how rocket squads were given some extra range in order to outrange defensive structures, and this is kind of true. Watchtowers can still target units that are just on the edge, but they won't do it automatically. And there are some edge cases where they'll just be a little bit too far out and a watchtower can't do anything, period. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it exactly, just because it feels like it's done intentionally to sort of prevent the defending player from not having to pay attention. And while that kind of seems like, oh, well, of course, you know, a player should pay attention to their base and so on, and I kind of agree to that, it does make it so that you can kind of just get blindsided unfairly for what seems like a rather minor mistake.
Assault in progress. Let's hit him. Confirming target. Reload. Confirm.
Now, as you might imagine, I don't really have anything to deal with these Black Hand troopers, although I won't really have to worry about them anymore since, well, after I destroy yet another set of base defenses and the construction yard, they can't replace anything.
We have contact. They're in our scope.
Now, this this mission is very sneaky in that you can rush to the convoy that is up in the top left corner. However, doing so causes a lot of problems. A lot of these buildings in the city will immediately receive reinforcements, and those reinforcements will garrison the buildings and immediately just make your life a living pain. Additionally, you have a bonus objective in this mission to bring the MCV to your base without taking any damage. That's like virtually impossible unless you do what I'm doing now, which is to essentially destroy the entirety of the left side of the map before you even start moving the MCV. The reason I say this is because, well, in several cases that I was playing this, you'd have one single unit that would just veer off the beaten path and target my construction yard and essentially prevent me from getting the bonus objective. Whereas if you do it this way, it's just much more of a guaranteed thing. Additionally, you can't actually deploy the MCV, so don't think that you can just, you know, move into the city a little bit, find yourself some open ground and deploy it. The game actually locks you out of that before you're able to deploy it. You have to bring the MCV back to your base before it just does it automatically. Now, I was trying to be cheeky with this as well. History repeating itself with the prior mission where I said, oh, okay, well, I'll just build a bunch of zone troopers, should be easy. However, as noted before, Venom assault aircraft or attack aircraft, patrol aircraft is what I mean, are just really annoying and don't really have good counters when you can only airdrop units. So I spent a lot of money on zone troopers to the point where I actually ran out of money, which became a problem because now I have to wait for my income to constantly regenerate before I can start doing things like airdropping units over and over and over again. However, it seems like the AI has enough money to constantly be putting units out, and I don't have enough of my own income to do something like just dropping all of my forces to prevent these sorts of moves. So honestly, I just ended up building an outpost or whatever and build some defenses, and that was enough to at least, you know, crack the shell before just airdropping everybody with all the money I had accumulated in the time between.
Reinforcements ready.
Honestly, I really do like this mission for the variety it gives you and how it makes you think about the different matchups between GDI and Nod forces. I do think it's a little tough on the tougher side, especially with how you have to maintain your base at the start, and you'll learn to hate Venom patrol craft all that much more.
Mission accomplished.
I have to admit, Commander, you're doing better than I'd hoped. Now let's see if you can keep it up. Hit Nod where it hurts. They have a huge cache of weapons and vehicles in a key staging area, their last supply depot in the region. Time to take it out, trash their reserves, and cut off their supply lines. You'll be one step closer to victory.